Hello and welcome to the PCG Podcast. I'm your host, SalmanTheFish, and today we're going to be talking about how to make a PCG, and you can follow along with me the entire time. It's going to be a RPG PCG, and it's also going to be a mini PCG. So before we get started, I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, Zach just released a new video that was completely about my entire YouTube career, my entire PCG career, and it was absolutely awesome. You guys should totally go and check that out after this. Watch it. It's amazing. Also, I wanted to do a PCG Spotlight. A recent PCG released by someone in the community is HMB Tigers Creed. I think that's what the game is called. It's like supposedly an Assassin's Creed type game. So yeah, he posted that in the Discord, so you can go check that out too. And without further ado, let's get started. So before we start, you're going to need a couple things. First of all, you're going to need paper. Second, you're going to need a pen or a pencil. And this is optional, but it'll help a lot. You're going to need scissors. So, get together your things, and then we'll get started in a moment here. Alright, now that you got together your stuff, the first thing you're going to want to do is fold your paper. So what I want you to do is take your paper. I have quite a large piece of paper. It's a 9x12, but a smaller piece of paper is fine. Just know that your PCG, if your paper is too small, your PCG is going to be very tiny. So just keep that in mind. So preferably a larger piece of paper, maybe just a normal letter size printer paper. You want to take it and just fold it in half, lengthwise or the other way around. It doesn't really matter. And then once you got it, once you got it folded, just fold it again. Fold it again, to make the paper into fourths. So let me just fold that again right here. It's kind of hard to describe this stuff in audio, but yeah. Now once you folded it twice, not in the same way. So if you just took your paper and folded it once and then folded it again the exact same way, you've done it wrong. I'm sorry about that. So once you open your piece of paper, your paper should be divided straight down the middle and straight down the middle horizontally. So you should have 4 sections, equally sized. And that is all you're going to need, just one piece of paper. You can expand onto this PCG later on, but for now, that's all you're going to need. So you're only going to be using one side of the paper, so I want you to turn the paper over to whichever side you want to be the back side, and I want you to label each piece of paper. So the first top left corner, the first corner that's folded, I want you to write title page. Okay, I got that written there. Now, the next box over, I want you to write map. And then the bottom two sections, you can just write across both of them, or you can write this on both of them. You're gonna want to write character cards. I'm gonna write it on each one. Alright, so again, a recap. You're supposed to take your piece of paper, fold it down lengthwise, and then it'll turn into like another rectangle, and then you want to turn it and fold it again lengthwise. So not in this, you don't want to fold it in the same way. And then once you open it, it should be divided into 4 sections. And in the first section, you want to write title page. The second section, you want to write map. The third and the fourth section, you want to write character cards. Alright, now once you've written all that, flip your piece of paper over to the front side, and this is where we get started. So for the title page, you can just leave it right now. You can decide later what you want your game to be called. Just know that we're making an RPG game, and it's a very simple one at that. Now, for the map section, and if you don't know which one that is, you can turn it over and look at which one you labeled the map section. You want to take that, and you want to write, or you want to draw a map. So you can do it any way you want, but if you want to follow along with me, I'm just gonna be drawing 3 islands. That's it. Just 3 kind of odd oval shaped islands, and they can be anywhere. Just make sure they're in that specific section. So I'm just drawing this little island right here. That's one island. I'm drawing one right next to it, and then one on the bottom. So make sure you stay within that box, within that one corner of the paper, so you don't be like going over onto other corners. And now I have 3 islands. All right. So for my game specifically, 3 islands is the exact amount you want. And now I'm gonna go in and label each island. So I'm gonna go to the first one and just write the number 1 right in the middle of it. I'm gonna go to the second one and write the number 2. And I'm gonna go into the third one and write the number 3. So now they're labeled. You can just do this straight on the front of the piece of paper. Alright, now I'm gonna go to the bottom 2 sections, and this is where the character cards are gonna be made. So there's gonna be monster cards, and then there's gonna be NPCs. So all you gotta do is there's the bottom left section and the bottom right corner, and you just want to divide them into 4. So you can just use your pencil, just draw a line straight through from the top to the bottom of each section, and then you want to take a line and draw it horizontally. So doing this, you'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rectangles in those 2 sections. I'm going to draw a line right down the middle where the fold was for the whole paper. So doing this, you're going to have 8 cards. You should have 8 sections now separated, and the first 6 sections will be for monster cards, and the last 2 will be NPC cards. So you just want to go through, and we're gonna have to make up some monsters for our game. So just go to the first 6 cards, and let's see, we gotta think up some monsters. Well, before we do that, I want you to go to each card, make a little square in the corner. So we're gonna be doing some like Pokemon type stuff. So made a little square in the top right. You can do it in the top left corner, or you can do the bottom corner of each card. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them I wrote, and I'm leaving the last 2 blank. And I'm gonna write in the first 2 cards, I'm in that little box in the corner of each card, I'm gonna write level 1. I just wrote LV1, so level 1. LV1 again, so those first 2 is just LV1. Then the 2 cards underneath that, I'm gonna write LV2. LV2 again. And then the last 2 cards on the other section, I'm gonna write LV3 and then LV3 again. So, another quick recap. You should have a large piece of paper folded into fourths. So you should have 4 sections. The first section right now should be blank. It should be waiting for your title page. The second section should be for your map, which should have 3 islands on it. And then the last 2 sections should be split into fourths. So you should have 8 squares or 8 rectangles in those 2 last sections, which should have level 1 on 2 of them, level 2 on 2 of them, and level 3 on the other 2, written in the top corner or any other corner. And then the last 2 cards should be blank. Alright, I hope everybody's following along fine. I hope I'm describing this the way I'm looking at it right now. Alright, now you're gonna create your monsters. So the level 1 monsters should be something easy. For me, I'm gonna make some like from my Dark Magician's Castle game. I'm gonna make a tree monster. So I'm just gonna draw a little top part of the tree, the trunk, and then he's gonna have like a little face. He's gonna be angry, super angry. He's gonna have like sharp teeth and vines coming out of the ground. So that's how he's gonna attack the player, using vines. So on that first card that says level 1, I'm drawing a little tree monster. You can draw any kind of monster you want. Just imagine it to be like a pretty easy monster to defeat. And then right underneath the monster on the bottom of the card, or you could write this on the top of the card, I'm gonna write what items the monster drops when it's killed. So in this scenario, I'm gonna have this monster drop a sword. So I'm gonna write that right there. Drops sword. Alright. So now that I wrote that, I'm gonna move on to the second card that's on level 1. And I'm gonna draw a, let's see here, what should I draw? Something simple. I'm gonna draw like a bat. So, see over here, the wings. Okay, gotta make it look evil with its eyes and its eyebrow. Okay, there we go. I drew the bat, and that bat is gonna just, I guess, it's gonna attack with its teeth, or its fangs, I mean. And I'm gonna write right underneath it, drops shield. So if the player kills this bat, the bat will drop a shield. Alright, now moving on to the 2 other cards that are labeled level 2 for island number 2. And I'm gonna draw level 2 monsters, so these ones will be a little bit more difficult. Alright, so level 2 monsters, let's see. Something that will be more difficult to defeat. I'm gonna draw an undead. So I'm gonna draw like a zombie looking type. It's gonna have its little brains poking out right there. It's gonna have a misshapen face, its ears bitten off. And of course, it has its arms right in front of it. Okay. Just drawing the rest of it right there. Your drawings don't have to be too complicated. They can be pretty simple, as long as the player gets the gist of it. You don't have to use any shading or anything. You can just use your pencil to shade. Alright, that's my zombie. And I'm gonna write right next to it, or on top of it, I'm gonna write drops health potion. So this zombie will drop a health potion. Now moving on to the second card in the level 2 cards, I'm gonna draw a. See, this is the part of PCGs. You gotta think about a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna draw something similar to my tree monster. I'm gonna draw probably like a rock monster, but this won't be humanoid shaped. So I'm just drawing a rock monster here. I'm not too sure if this looks like too much like a rock, but I'll go with it. And I'm gonna make it look angry, of course, or evil. And then right on top of it, I'm gonna write drops bow. So this one will drop a long range weapon. Alright, so I hope you're still following along. Of course, if you didn't realize that, you can pause anytime if you need more time to draw your things. Alright. Moving on to the last 2 monster cards. So right now you should have 4 of your cards filled out of 8. And so the level 3 cards, I'm gonna draw some pretty tough monsters. So these are gonna be the final monsters that you're gonna have to beat on the 3rd island to beat the game, and they should be pretty hard monsters to beat. Let's see here. I gotta think up some tough monsters. So I'm gonna draw like a knight, so someone with armor, an armored person. The armor's not gonna be that great looking, but it should work. And he's gonna have a spear as his weapon. I'm gonna make a double-sided spear. Makes it more interesting. And the drawing is not great at all, but it will work. It will work just fine. Alright. Just drawing some knee pads here. There we go. Got my knight right here. And he has a double-sided spear. And this knight, upon dying, is gonna drop, this is important to the story. The knight is gonna drop rare materials, so that's what you gotta write, rare materials. Alright. And now moving on to the second level 3 monster, I'm going to draw like a blob. So let's see here. It's gonna be like a slime type blob monster. Super simple to draw. It's just literally a blob. Give it some sharp teeth. Make it look a little evil. Alright, there we go. It's just a blob monster. And then this is also same thing as the last one. It's gonna be dropping rare materials. Alright. And now moving on to the final cards of the game. So after this, we're gonna be just about done. We're gonna be drawing the 2 NPCs. So the first NPC, for my story at least, is gonna be a farmer. So we're gonna have to draw a farmer. Okay. I'm gonna draw him with his hat with a little piece of grass sticking out, you know. Alright, and I'm finished with the farmer. The farmer is not going to have anything written next to him. You can just write farmer at the top, I guess. Farmer. I'm going to write Farmer Bob. Farmer Bob. My boy. And he's going to be situated on the first island, but in my game he moves around, so you don't have to write anything like level-wise. And then the second person you're going to be drawing, the second NPC, is just going to be a villager. So I'm going to just write that at the top. Villager. So this villager is going to be situated in the 3rd island. I'm going to draw him just a normal looking dude. I'm going to name him Villager Joe. So obviously, you know, Joe and Bob, the most common names ever. Let's see. I'm going to give him a beard. curly hair and stuff. Just 2 dots as his eyes. You know, he's a happy guy. Let me give him a big stomach. And he's gonna be wearing like a plaid shirt. And I'm drawing his pants here. Give him some boots. Alright, that's Villager Joe. And he's the second NPC. If you want a reminder, you can just write like in the top corner, you can write like the number 1 for Farmer Bob and the number 3 for Villager Joe, just to know where they go. And yeah, that should be good. Alright, so the final thing that you have to draw before you get on with the story is the title page. I'm going to be doing a super simple title page, but you can just do your title page right after this. And the title page, I'm going to name my game Monster Islands. So, Monster Islands. I'm going to draw a couple islands on the title page. Okay, it's a very simple looking game. Or title page, rather. But it will do the trick. I'm just writing my name right here by SalmanTheFish PCG. You can write your name on yours. Alright, and that's basically everything you needed to draw. I'm going to talk about how exactly this game is going to work while I'm cutting out the pages. So all you got to do to cut out this PCG is to cut it along the folds. So the full piece of paper, at the very beginning when I told you to fold it into 4 pieces, you just want to cut along those folds. So straight down the middle, lengthwise and horizontally. And then for the cards, those 2 sections, once you cut it in half, they're going to be separated into 4 and 4. You just want to cut those into their separate cards as well. So the title page will be 1 page right here. Okay, I got my title page cut out. And then here's the map. The map is here too now. And then I have my monster, all my monsters. And I'm not going to cut them out because I want to take a picture of this and upload it onto the PCG shop. So I'm going to keep it intact just for now. But yeah, you want to take your monster cards. There should be 8 cards in total. There should be 6 monster cards and 2 NPC cards, which should be 8 cards, and you can cut them out. Alright, so here's how the game works. So you're going to want to tell your player that they crash landed. So they went in a helicopter or a plane and they crash landed on an island. And their goal is to find a way to get out. So they're walking down through some trees and some bushes, and when they come across a big farm field. And in this farm field, they come across a farmer. And he looks really worried, and he looks like something's wrong. So once the player goes up to this farmer, you want to make sure you use the farmer card and place it on top of the map so they can see who they're talking to. And the farmer is going to be like, oh, finally there's somebody here. I hope you're a warrior. I hope you're like a person who can kill monsters, because my little farm cottage has been taken over by 2 monsters, and if you can kill them, I'll do something. I'll do anything for you. And then your player obviously needs a way out to get off the island, so they can go and kill the monsters to get valuable information from the farmer. So yada yada, the player goes and kills the 2 level 1 monsters. So you can place down those cards. Make sure the fight is like pretty good length, a couple minutes, and then they can get the sword and the shield from the 2 monsters. And when they go back to the farmer, you can tell them this before, like when they meet the farmer or after they kill the monsters, the farmer knows information about a way to get help. So it turns out that on the third island, there's a villager who owns a radio that can radio to the mainland and get them to send help. So that will be the player's goal, is to get to the third island and find the guy with the radio. But the only way they can get to the other islands, is to use a boat. And the farmer has a boat. So for helping the farmer kill the monsters, the player can use the farmer's boat, and the farmer will take them to the second island, because the third island is just way too far. So they can take them to the second island, and now the player's on the second island. And the farmer will wait for the player at the second island. And then now at the second island, there's no NPC, but if you have the player go and kill the two monsters, they can find them anywhere on the island. They'll drop a health potion and a bow, which will help them for the third island. And at this point, the player has a sword and shield, so they can use that sword and the shield to kill the other monsters. And once they come back, they can take the villager's boat and ask him, like, oh, please, can you get me to the third island? They can sell the health potion to him or give it to him in exchange for taking him to the third island, or they can convince them or something. And then once the player gets to the third island using a boat, they can finally meet up villager. They can meet up with Villager Joe, which is the second NPC of the game. And Villager Joe will say, "All right, I can help you. I can let you use the radio, but first you have to help me. See, my family has been mining, and recently our mine has been taken over by two monsters. So those are the two monsters that we made cards of, the level 3 monsters. And these monsters have been they took over the cave, and they can't make money anymore because the family can't mine in the cave. So if the player kills the monsters in the cave, they will get access to the radio, and then the guy can send help. So once the player kills the monsters, and they get the rare materials as well, which if they give the rare materials to the villager, he'll be happy about it, obviously, or they can take it with them. Once they get back, the villager will be like, okay, thank you so much. Here you go. Here's the radio. So the player can take the radio, use it, call for help, and bam, that's the end of the game. Like a helicopter or like a boat or a plane will come and save the player and take them back to the mainland. And the rest is history. So yeah, you can re-listen to that if you didn't follow along. You can even, if you didn't even care about all that, you can just make up your own story. I don't even mind. But yeah, that was how to make a simple RPG only using one piece of paper, a pencil, and scissors. And that's about all I have to talk about. Let me know on either on Discord or in the comments if this was easy to follow along, if there was any improvements I could have made. I'm going to be uploading this to the PCG shop right after this. Thank you all for listening. I'll see you guys next time, hopefully with Sinister. Peace.